da 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 da. This is $70 sealed. Completed listings on eBay, and we got not one. No, no, no. We have three, four, five, six of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, Turbo Pack Booster 6. Shout out to the bounty whose booty I beat at YCS Orlando. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Avery LR32 YCS Orlando Experience recap. And no, unlike YCS Orlando from back in the day over a decade ago, none of my opponents got arrested, but two of them didn't show up. Let's dive on into it, shall we? It was so good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the most, with no opponents to show up, Avery LR32 here, and destroy the ever-living Turbo Pack Booster 6 Boo-Boo Stain off of that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher, the 1,500 ladder. We're only 30 subs away from 1,600, and, you know, I thought about giving these away, but unfortunately, I spent $1,200 on Fiendsmith Rizal to make day 2 and get 159th place because I decided not to show up for my last round because I was going to be at table 59. There was no shot I was making top 64. Your boy came in 159th out of roughly, like, what, 2,300 players? With 500 apparently showing up late to round 1 because parking was atrocious. Ha ha! So, man, we got so much to go through. I'm going to try and make this short. It's probably not going to be. So, you need to save this video to your watch later playlist. So, like, if you need to go take a dump or something, or, like, go walk your cat or dog or your pet rock, you can come back and watch this video and you can pick up from where you left off. You can also subscribe to the channel and hit that ding-dong Taco Bell notification bell so you can be part of the A-gang. You guys, I had so much fun at this YCS, not even just because of the fact that we spent $1,200 on, okay, I'm past the 1 minute mark, we're 2 minutes in, not only because of the fact that, not just because of the fact, I should say, I spent $1,200 on fucking Fiendsmith Rizal, and then we made money back and then some. We actually made profit if I end up selling these Turbo Pack Booster 6s. I walked out of that YCS with $3 short of a grand, so let's just call it 1,000 buckaroonies, because then I made a buy list with Cool Stuff Games. Shout out to them. I'm getting like $24, $25 on out of that. So let's just call it, what, 1,025 at that point? We walked out of that YCS with a grand. My dad got a coin. I got a coin. He got the Cyber Dragon one. I got Goblin Attack Force one. They're both silver, not gold. That's random, unfortunately. Oh well. I also got this beautiful photo, and I'm going to hopefully remember to put this in the video. If I don't remember, then I'm going to have it as a community post on the channel, so be sure you look out for that. This guy had a near mint dark dual story blue eyes white dragon. It was mwah. It was scrumdiddlyumptious. Unfortunately, he knew what he had, ladies and gentlemen, so there was no way we were going to be able to get that off him. But he actually got it at a garage sale because he said someone's grandfather, like in his neighborhood, passed away, and he had these old cards, and one of them was a DDS Blue Eyes. Like, that's wild. If that story is to be believed from the dude, that shit is wild. So, anyway, it took place at the, I was about to say Osceola. I accidentally said that earlier today, but it's the Orange County Convention Center. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Orlando, the joke is that it takes an hour to get from Orlando to Orlando. Traffic is dog shit. What I didn't know going into this weekend was that not only for all you NFL American football lovers, there was the Pro Bowl, which no one gives a shit about, but people want to go watch it anyway, even though it's garbage. There was a cheerleading, like, national championship competition going on, and then there was also the PGA Tour, which is golf, for the 5 people who wanted to go see that, I guess. I think golf is stupid. I'm sorry. So all those events going on, plus 2,300 fat-ass Yu-Gi-Oh! Players who are insulin resistant and probably need some Ozempic or Metformin to get their asses up in the morning. And then 500 of them show up late. We'll get into that in a second. But it's like, we saw players at 10:30 in the morning getting Dippin' Dots. Like, who does that shit, bro? That's what makes you late to round 1. And round 2, in the case of my dad, yo ass is getting Dippin' Dots. Like, bro, you really need Dippin' Dots at 10 in the morning. Like, the shit was ridiculous, right? So, The Orange County Convention Center is one of the biggest convention centers in America, and you have to pay to park there. It wasn't like a situation with me where I was with my parents, so my mom could just drop my dad and I off, and we walk, and then we're right there, right? So you had to pay to park. Parking was atrocious. It was taking people literally 15 minutes of a walk to get from the west side of the convention center all the way over to where we were at like the opposite side of the building. So keep this in mind as we go through our little story time, right? So my dad and I are on this walk of, I guess, shame, especially like if you scrub out of the event, walk of shame all the way on over to the convention center to get pre-registered, whatever. And so we do all that. The hotel was not the best. We got the first floor. There were assholes screaming all night. Don't stay at a Hilton hotel if it has the name Sparks on it. Sparks by Hilton is dog shit. Look up Sparks by Hilton on Google. It's like 2.9 out of 5 stars. And then we found out after the fact it probably used to be a Motel 6 or whatever your local equivalent is of a $5 one-night stay for a good time motel. And they just bought it out, slapped a fresh coat of paint on it, you were good to go. The sink was not even in the fucking bathroom, and the bathroom was the size of a closet. And then my mama found a roach in the bathroom on day 2 of the YCS. Well, I was at day 2, basically taking a nap because my opponent didn't show up for round 10 because there was 3 rounds on day 2, 10, 11, 12, and my opponent didn't show up in time. He did show up in time. He had 1 second to get his deck set up. It was great. It was great. Did I mention those turbo packs that your boy won because we top decked a feather duster? Oh my god, we're gonna be getting into all that shit. So we found a roach. We got a night comped. There were some dumbass girls in the hallway screaming on day 2. The hotel was horrible, right? We would have stayed at the Hyatt across the street from the convention center so we could just walk. Problem is that the only thing that was available was $400 a night rooms in like a fucking presidential suite. I was not paying that. My family and I were not going to pay that to go play cards for 2 days. If Konami had announced it sooner and all these other events weren't going on, yeah, your boy would have been staying at the Hyatt and we would have been, I don't know, getting a mani-pedi and like getting our fingernails done and shit because we made day 2 and we did absolutely great, ladies and gentlemen. And what was nice about this whole event was that there was really never a time where I misplayed. That was like one of the biggest things I was worried about is that, you know, especially if you think about it, in the case of this YCS, with there being 3 rounds on day 2 plus top 64 all the way down to the finals, that's 2 regionals back to back. 9 rounds day 1, and then actually 12 rounds day 2 if you make it all the way to the finals, because you have the 3 rounds of day 2, then you cut off to top 64. Well, top 64 to the finals is 9 rounds. So you're doing 12 rounds on day 2. That's a lot of Yu-Gi-Mons, ladies and gentlemen. And so not only is it mentally taxing, I didn't eat for like 9 hours on day 1. Like, it was really crazy. And I still ended up able to pull out a 7-2 win or victory into day 2 as a buddy of mine tries to text. I thought that was my girl text me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm dating a girl now. Like, it's shocking, right? I got to always be on the phone or some shit, I guess. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and dive on into it. If you saw my community post, I went round by round. I kind of talked about some stuff that I'm still going to be talking about here, so do keep that in mind. But round 1, my opponent didn't show up, and this is where the 500 late registrants come in. There were people still trying to register on Saturday, which why people didn't pre-register the day before. I don't know why, but Yu-Gi-Oh players don't like to prepare, I guess, or I don't know, something comes up, which I understand, but if you're not pre-planning, why? Pre-planning, yeah, that's a word now. So there were 500 people late to the event on day 1, and at 9:43 in the morning, they posted round 1 pairings, right? But the event didn't start until 10. So everyone got sat down, got arranged, whatever. They started making the announcements. 10 a.m. on the dot, they started. So people were late as they were like doing the 15-minute run or walk, whatever, from the west side of the convention center all the way over, and the traffic and parking was horrendous. So if you're trying to find time to park and the pairings have been posted, you're screwed. You're not going to make it in time, right? Especially if you park like right at 10 a.m. Like, you're just screwed. So I end up getting a round 1 win. Bunch of people got round 1 wins, I guess. Bunch of people complained because they got dropped from the event. Because if you've never been to a regional or something, if you don't show up for a round, then your opponent gets the win and then you get dropped from the event. So take that for what you will. A bunch of people complained. I don't know what happened with that. I got my free win. I didn't give a shit. And then round 2, we play against Flunder. I'm like, really? So I actually ended up screwing with the guy. I scooped game 1. he didn't see what I was playing. He thought I was on Malice, so he brought in Lancias, and he got punished for it because then I started playing Rizal cards. He's like, oh, this Lancia doesn't do shit. And then game 3, we opened up the Lancia. He wasn't able to play the game, and we beat his ass. He was a cool dude, but definitely kind of made me crap my pants a little bit when I saw Flunder, because I'm like, please don't make me beat X1 in round 2 against Flunder. Like, I'm like, this shit cannot be happening. So anyway, the only other highlight was that, shout out to my buddy William. He took a few photos of me while I was in round 7 against Fiendsmith Rizal. Yeah, Fiendsmith Rizal, who I ended up beating. It was crazy because Ethan Scott, who I think got like top 64, top 32, he was my first loss. And I would say I didn't really misplay, like hindsight being 2020, right? And I mentioned this in the deck profile. I impermed like an Ice Rizal or something. Or whatever the situation was, I impermed something. Technically, with what was in his hand, I should have waited for like a duo drive or a detonator or whatever it was that he summoned. So, but that's variance. And he even said after the match, he's like, you really didn't make a misplay. You made the best judgment call you could based on what I had on the board and how many cards I had in my hand. Imperming whatever Rizal was, let's just say it was Ice Rizal. He said imperming Ice Rizal was technically not the wrong move in that situation. I just had the extender. It's variance. He said, and it was funny because he's like, look, you're going to be fine. You were not a pushover in this match. Like, I really had to work hard for it. And he seemed like a really good player, super nice guy, and all my opponents were really chill, minus the Bounty Hunter, which is the next point I want to get to. This dude is fucking salty. So, if you saw my deck profile, you know I was side decking Feather Duster. And this is where the 6 turbo packs come into play. He was a bounty hunter. Now, for those of you who don't know what a bounty hunter is, basically it's if you are playing throughout the tournament, you get more packs in this pool the more players you beat. But if you lose some of those packs. Well, your boy beat that ass. And we got 6 turbo packs, baby. This shit's like $70 to $100 sealed. Like, one sold on eBay for $70. So I could sell these for $65 a piece and make even more money. It's crazy. So we go into game 3. And I had already beaten him game 2 because I had double judgment and strike set. And I think he said like he was expecting strike and not judgment or vice versa. Either way, he was salty. So we go into game 3. He opened up like 2 Mitsurugi engine cards because he's on Mitsurugi Rizal. And it was 2 engine cards that didn't work together. Sets 3 and passes. I'm like, I need back row hit. I go draw. It's Feather Duster. I go Feather Duster. And I'm literally staring at him like this. Just trying not to laugh my ass off. And I'm like, go fish that pizza? So he flips up his back row. He's got Deck Devi for some reason. Oh, because the Mitsurugis are dark, the rituals, so you can Deck Devi, I guess, because that's apparently a good play. Deck Devi called by Metaltronus. Metaltronus needs to be fucking banned, by the way. So we blow that away. We've got Engraver plus Ice. I already talked about the combo. I showed in my deck profile, which actually Lucas Sacco was on, and then people on YGO Pro Deck were talking about like, oh, this is a new combo, and I'm like, I came up with that first, I guess, but I didn't talk about it. So sure, okay, cool, whatever. So we blow that away, and he's just salty. I'm like, yeah, I just won because I topped it at the Feather Duster. He's like, must be nice. And then I had to awkwardly follow him up to the scorekeeper and give them my match result. And I went to go put it in like the little bin. He goes, don't put it there unless you don't want the packs. And I'm like, bro, chill. Like, it's a card game. You're the one with the hoodie on. You're trying to look cool. Your anus is tight. You need to relax your anus and your holes and your shoulders. So all of this happens, right? We get our 6 turbo packs. We go to day 2. I'm sitting there at round 10. 3 minutes pass. I get a game win. We're coming down to the wire, almost at the 35-minute mark where we're going to get a match when my opponent or the judge says, you may want to pull out a pen. Like, get ready to sign the slip. I'm like, okay. Start packing up my shit. 35 minutes and 1 second. My opponent runs over, and the judge doesn't even look at him. He's just looking down, signing the match slip, going, you have to be ready by 35. So he wasn't ready by the 35-minute mark. There was no way he was going to be able to present his deck to me, shuffled, ready to go in half a second. So I won. And he's just looking at the board, defeated, and just like salty. And the judge goes, so do you want me to drop you, or do you want to keep playing it out? So then I texted our homie Valley D. I'm like, bro, I just got another free win. He's like, 9 a.m. too early, too strong, let's go. It was so funny. And I'm just like, bro, if I could do this all the way out up to top 64, it'd be great. And then unfortunately we lost at round 11 to Fiendsmith Rizal. We went to 3 games. He just had too much on me. He had a detonator with Judgment in the back row and an Ash Blossom. And he actually forgot to revive his detonator with Eclipse Twins because he called a judge over because I didn't have a proper search target for the sword, which I don't know if that would have mattered in the grand scheme of things, but either way, I don't think it would have mattered because of the fact that I didn't have the search. He forgot to use Eclipse Twins, but yet he had Judgment and Ash anyway, so I tried to make Detonator and he Judgmented it. Then I tried to make Duo Drive and I used the effect and he Ashed it. And if he didn't Ash it, I would have won the game because he was at 4,000, so I would have been able to put a couple bodies up and win the game. But again, though, I really don't think I misplayed, right? I think that I did great. And even if the Eclipse Twins did resolve, this guy would have been able to either bring out Exciton Knight since that was properly summoned, or he would have been able to bring out Detonator and then attach Exciton and attach the Eclipse Twin. So I'm either dealing with a double pop Detonator, or if I somehow get more resources than him, I go to battle phase, Exciton is going to clear my board. So I'm sure he would have gone for the Detonator to have 2 pops anyway. So I really don't think that there was any way I was going to be able to play around that, even if I had a proper search off of the X-Rizal to grab Sword. Which I think I may have already special summoned Sword anyway, so I don't think it even mattered. I have gone through that game like 10 times in my head, and I don't think that there was any way I could have won. But it was still really fun, and I've never made day 2 before, and it was his first time making day 2 too. And he even said, like, I'm not trying to shark you, like, you're a really respectful guy, you're really cool, and I get it. I mean, it's day 2, right? Like, I even had to, I wouldn't say sharking, it was maintaining a game state. The guy that I played round 8 to give me my 7th win, it was another Fiendsmith Rizal player, and he dropped out the Duo Drive, and as soon as he dropped out, he took his hand off it, and then immediately took it back and was like, oh wait, can I summon something else? I'm like, bro, I hate to be that guy, but like, we're fighting for day 2 to get to in the YCS. You committed to that Duo Drive. I can't let you take it back. And of course, I was holding the fucking Ghost Ogre in my hand, so you damn well better believe I was not going to let him take that back. And it's like, I felt bad, like, because that's not how you want a game to go. Like, you kind of don't want to win on a misplay, but, like, that's also kind of, that's sort of a factor, right? Like, the factor of a YCS is, hey, pimp, how much stamina do you have? Like, can you go Super Saiyan Blue when you need to go Super Saiyan Blue and hit a Black Flash and keep going? To quote JJK and DBZ at the same time, that actually sounds like a really cool idea, to hit a Black Flash as Super Saiyan Blue. But, like, that's a factor. You fuck up, that's on you, Sugar Boo Bear. You try to use that Duo Drive effect, I'm going to over you. And now you're going to lose. And that's your own fault. Still, though, at least for me, it made me feel bad. But I still had a lot of fun. Sold my entire deck. Got basically $1,000, a couple dollars short. Because then also Valley D paid us $25 for an A-bow. He's like, you could have totally ripped me off. I'm like, why the hell am I going to rip you off? I've known you for over a decade. Like, that's just a dick move. Like, no. And it was funny, too, because if you saw my live stream where I opened up a Supreme Darkness case, you will know that Valley D was up in there going, oh, cool, you pulled your 3 meows. All right, everyone, he's ready to go 2-3 drop. Meanwhile, I started off 3-0, and Valley D started off like 4 wins and a draw, or 3 wins and a draw, and he needed Cowboy, so I could bust his chops and say, you should have played the Cowboy, but no, we ain't going to do that. And then, of course, after I made day 2, he's like, it's the height of your Yu-Gi-Oh career. That's your best accomplishment ever. It's time for you to go to Houston. I'm like, fuck that. I ain't going to Houston. You can kiss my ass until it resembles a California raisin without it being on fire. Yeah, I'm not going to Houston. But I had a lot of fun. I love the fact that I got these turbo packs. For anyone interested in what's in Turbo Pack 6, there's nothing expensive in there other than an Ultimate Rare Dark Arm Dragon that near mint's like $400. I could pull it and then I make even more money on top of what I have, or I could open them all and like I'm pulling Gren Kappas and shit. So it's just not worth it. But overall, I think the event was ran great. I think it was funny as hell that fat-ass Yu-Gi-Oh! Players were getting Dippin' Dots at 10:30 in the morning because that's the breakfast of champions. One of my dad's opponents, actually, because he also had a bye round 2, or he didn't have a bye, his opponent didn't show up round 2, so he started off 3-0. One of his opponents actually got sick. Like, he was going to beat my dad, and he got sick from the chicken nuggets there, like that he ate at like one of the venues. He's like, yeah, don't eat the chicken nuggets. I got to go to the bathroom. You got the win. I got to drop. Yeah, my dad felt bad for the guy because my dad was going to lose. He was playing fucking stunned. But he won a lot of die rolls, and then he ended up going 4-3 drop. So, but yeah, that's the experience. Also, Valley D played a Primite Fiendsmith for anyone interested. So if y'all want to see the stun deck list, let me know down in the comments below. I can always do a deck profile on it. But yeah, 20 minutes of talking about how YCS Orlando was. And my opponent didn't get arrested this time. And if y'all have seen that story, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, go check it out on the channel. Just type in my opponent got arrested and you'll find it, because my opponent got arrested for stealing cards. Guys, let me know. Did you go to the YCS? Did you enjoy it? Did you see me and you were too afraid to come up and say hi? Or did you just not give a crap to come up and say hi to me? Because, I don't know. I like making friends. Guys, thanks for watching. Plenty of great content to come. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I feel like a brand new man now that I've got a day 2 under my belt. Next stop, getting top 64 at a YCS and getting top 8 at a regional. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon. I'll see you in the next video.